This week, your vote matters more than ever, and I'm asking for your vote for the movie that allows me to pick on DraftKings.
And I'm asking for your vote to support a couch that will kill you with comfort. Welcome back, beer lovers, movie maniacs, and people who still have indigestion from last week's episode.
That's right. If you're just tuning in, last week we made a movie about competitive eaters being held hostage in a Saw-like buffet of doom. And somehow we're still hungry for more.
Oh, I don't know if I'm hungry for anything. But anyway, this is a fresh week, a clean plate, and a brand new Fast Five. That means 5 new beers, 5 new ridiculous movie concepts, and most importantly, once again, you get to pick which one will be turned into a full-length feature next week.
So what's it going to be this time? A romantic comedy about a sentient toaster?
Ooh.
A gritty crime thriller starring a man who's mostly raccoon? Or a supernatural horror about yoga pants?
Ooh, that sounds, I'd like to, well, never mind. Only one way to find out. Crack open a cold one, brace for impact, and let's dive headfirst into the absurdity.
Fasten your beer helmets. It's time for another Fast Five. But first, we're going to meet you in a minute with the recap from last week's movie.
Let's take a trip back in time to last week's winning feature. Was it a masterpiece or a mistake?
So I don't have anything good to say about last week's movie, Harrison. We did it.
We did it. We did it. Oh, heck yeah, we did it. I really liked it. I'll tell you what, I was very worried about stuffed cheese. When we came across it, I loved the movie, and in the Fast Five, I thought we had like the beginnings of an idea, but I couldn't see the rest of it. And to be honest, I am the guy that saw like 19 years after it came out because I just can't. Those movies are not my jam.
Congratulations, you are still alive.
So anything with people dying, torture, eating to death, oh boy, that's just not something that tickles my fancy. But I think what we did with Stuffed Cheeks was, I don't know, it was great. I would watch that movie, and that's, I feel like, saying something. So usually I steer clear from it. But I really liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny. I thought the characters were interesting. It had kind of that, in the beginning, that Clue vibe, a little more innocent than a Saw movie. But like kind of eccentric characters, you know, an unthinkable challenge, and yeah, okay, people ate some people, but we mostly navigated around, I think, the grossest things that could have happened, and did make it more about Bottomless Brian and his survival and eventual transcendence into superpower amazingness, which... Yeah, I'm here for that. I'm here for any time Brian gets to do something ridiculous.
True, we nugget nectared Brian, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Well, I don't know if this was better or worse, but the Noble Stomach was a really cool sort of beer me that movie superpower.
Keep
Thank
an
you
eye out for that.
Being an expert in the ways of
I'm the
Buddha.
only one, hopefully still.
I thought so. Like I can't say that I loved the movie Saw. But there are others like it in that genre. Like there's a movie called A Serbian Film, which is a horrifying film. And it's just as gross as Saw, but it takes it up to a level where it just makes you feel very uncomfortable. And that to me is like the scare. Like my dream haunted house would be making you walk through a kitchen where there's a couple having an argument and getting into a divorce.
Right.
Like, and you have to like walk in between them. That's not a typical haunted house, but I promise it would just be so uncomfortable.
Yes.
You'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Be alive. Right. I know. I agree. Yes, I know these movies are intense. They can be intense. Hopefully you laughed more than you said, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to barf. A nice mix. But it also kind of reminded me a little bit of The Fourth Dose, which was our second movie. People trapped in a house. It wasn't eating, but they had a lot of sacrifices. That one ended very differently than this one. I like both endings, even though they were very, very different. So that was cool to kind of revisit again, something similar, but have a different outcome and different characters and all that stuff. And then in terms of the theme, I think really, I don't know if this is a theme, but the takeaway here was kind of the power, great power comes great responsibility. You had basically a room full of people eating to make themselves rich, and they were consuming not just the food, but the fame and the money and the blah, 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 blah. And then you had Bottomless Brian, who kind of came at this from a completely different angle and wanted to use his amazing ability to eat a lot for good. Life stepped in the way of that, but redemption came around when he right cocktail shrimp stepped in the way of that, but he got to redeem himself with stuffed cheeks and walk out with a superpower and victorious, and now he does TED Talks and is aligned with another superhero in our universe, Big Nose, to go kill all these bad people in whatever the heck the second Stuffed Cheeks looks like, or maybe the second Big Nose, or a Civil War type movie. We're combining franchises.
Yes.
We're building our own Marvel universe here. It's I can't wait for the t-shirt and the poster.
I love that you were able to make me feel good about that movie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I
God.
viewed it as like I would never tell anyone that I made that movie. I wouldn't want my name in the credits, but I liked it. I thought it'd be a fun, interesting thing to watch.
Hell yeah.
But there's like the way that we took Brian and made him into kind of like an altruistic hero for mankind in the grossest way we could do it on film.
That's right. The light shines darkest in the brightest in the dark. Something like that.
Darkest in the daylight.
The light in the day.
Something about I ate too many shrimp.
Candle off, right? I feel uncomfortable. But yeah, it was cool. And again, Big Nose, having the ability to teleport around and kill a bunch of pedophiles. That's great too. A nice little cherry on top of that.
Yeah, like very Marvel,
gross,
like
right, exactly.
secret Easter egg ending. And when we initially thought of Stuffed Cheeks in the Fast Five, I remember talking about diamond robbers putting diamonds in their cheeks and stuff.
Right.
So that was what I initially thought of. Then I remembered it evolved into this sort of like competitive eater feast of doom.
Right.
So I'm excited we went there, but really, if you had any qualms about it, you picked.
Yeah, exactly.
You picked
right.
it. The only one I want to apologize to is Myers Creek Brewery and that cute little hamster that inspired that.
Right
that
now has a different
film.
legacy. I know we got dark there. If that was your first beer in that movie as well, because you're a Myers Creek fan, they're not all like that. That was one of the darkest.
Yeah, we did a sex comedy trilogy.
Yeah, those are fun. That's a different kind of darkness there. A fun kind. A playful darkness most of the time.
Playful darkness is going to put you on Big Nose's bad list.
He's always watching.
Oh, that Big Nose. All right, so that's a good recap of a film that we ideated in this podcast. And I think now is when we get to my favorite part of the Fast Five, Harrison.
It's drinking time.
Let's see what this week's beer is going to be that inspires us to make more movie ideas that you'll vote on at the end of this podcast.
Viewer discretion and designated drivers advised.
Oakley dokley, folks. So it's already sweating. We're back to that time of year in North Carolina. Okay, we are enjoying today a beer called Hop Beard from Fonta, Flora Brewery out in Nebo, North Carolina, which is like 6 hours west of us in the mountains. So Hop Beard is an American style IPA, kind of a West Coast style IPA, 7% ABV, and kind of just picking some notes, summarizing some stuff from Fonta, Flora themselves about Hop Beard. They just say our favorite West Coast style India Pale Ale, dry hop with Amarillo, Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe, brewed with water from our wells and 85% local ingredients. So they love, cheers to that. They love using malt from Carolina Malt House, which is a great local malt house. And yeah, this is kind of their flagship. I've had it, but I don't remember, so we're gonna enjoy it now together and jump into Hop Beard and let this power us
I already
through.
took a sip.
Good.
I think you're gonna enjoy
Cheers.
it quite a bit.
I'm excited. Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh man.
I understand the name. I understand the can artwork.
Right. It's fruity, it's juicy, but it's got that nice dry kind of dank hoppy bite at the end, which is what I love. and West Coast style IPAs that it punches you in the face and makes you want to take another drink, and then all of a sudden the beer's gone.
Yes, like all the flavor that was part of the New England beer explosion, all the flavor that you would get from there. But I compare a New England would be like going and getting a Starbucks triple mocha cream and chino.
Oof, yeah.
And this is like having like black tea. Like
Yes.
it's so good. And it makes me want to have another sip versus take insulin.
Exactly right. Worry that I've just shaved 10 years off my life from one drink. I know. So this is the opposite of that. It's delicious. It's hoppy. It makes me miss my beer, but it'll grow back. So thank you, Fonta Flora, for giving us something to, again, we won't make a movie called Hop Beer tonight unless we find it on Untapped. This is just to power us through, inspire us, give us maybe some liquid courage. Do we have to make another eat yourself to death movie? We'll see. So we're going to keep drinking this and jump into the Fast Five in a moment. But first, John's got some things to let us know about.
Yeah, just some words of wisdom, y'all.
Good.
Take a quick moment and listen up. I want to give Harrison credit. He is literally grinding. He hasn't figured out how to use a cell phone yet, so he's grinding away at our social media game, doing some cool stuff, not only just talking and giving clips of the show, but putting some cool memes and funny Fridays up, and also keeping track of all the votes that you'll put in at the end of this Fast Five to determine which movie we make next week. So aside from juggling fatherhood, work, marriage, 9 to 5, podcast, send him a message on social media. Let him know that you've seen him. Let him know if you have any suggestions for the show. Vote for your favorite beer. And if you don't like typing, go to speakpipe.com/beermethatmovie, and you can send us a message, and we'll play it, and we'll laugh. And if it does make us laugh, we'll probably share it in the next episode.
Oh, yeah, we absolutely will. SpeakPipe's awesome. So yeah, go check that out. Leave us a message, a voicemail, and we'll get you on here. Speaking of all that magical fun stuff, we've got some user-generated magic, John, queued up to be the first, possibly few beers of Fast 528. So let's go check them out. Let's go shift into gear and punch the throttle.
Got to get that Honda Fastback.
Honda Fastback, baby. Only made one for some reason. We got.
Okay, so for our first beer of this Fast Five, this check-in comes from Brian, who sent it to us, and he's coming off of a banger submission he sent in a couple of weeks ago. He told us about Stuffed Cheeks, and that ended up becoming the feature film. So they sent us this on Untapped. You can see it behind us if you're watching. This beer is made by Sam Adams, and it's called Breakaway Blonde.
Ooh, Breakaway Blonde.
B-O-B? No, B-A-B.
B-A-B? B-A-B. The Babs. We knew a Babs once.
That's a different podcast.
A Swiss Army knife of sorts, except all the knives were broken. Just had one spork that would come out of her. Anyway, don't worry about Babs. Let's talk about this Breakaway Blonde.
Breakaway Blonde.
What do you got? You got anything? I'm seeing like a car chase, but what do you have?
I like
John?
that. I get stuck on Breakaway, and I think like in the Army they would tell you not to wear your wedding ring because if it got stuck when you were jumping out of the Humvee, it would pull your like it happened to Jimmy Fallon famously.
Right, that's right.
Degloved, I think it's called. So like a lot of your equipment had like a breakaway device. So anyways, that's what I think of. That's not a we just did Stuffed Cheeks. We don't need to do that again. I like the chase sort of idea. What are you broiling over? What are you brewing over there?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we got blonde, so I'm seeing like a woman.
Definitely a woman. Guys can't be blonde.
Yeah, right.
It would be funny if we called a movie Breakaway Blonde and it had Val Kilmer in it.
Right, Val. That was perfect. Right, 80s Val Kilmer with that hair. It's just a story about Iceman.
Where's the girl? Nah, it's just Val.
It's just Val in an open road. I mean, people would watch it. Probably sell some tickets. Certainly, it was like 1988. Okay, but let's not do that. I don't think. Something about like blonde woman, small town. Maybe she's a waitress, whatever. And gosh, like her and her fiance are up to no good, maybe planning on robbing, I don't know.
Oh, I like this. Okay. Small town waitress, small town being the key operative word.
Always.
you're from a small town. Waitress is like working at the factory. That's a good job for a small town blonde. You don't have a lot of options, so you probably marry your high school sweetheart. So that's what's happening.
Got it.
She's been proposed to. They've been engaged, and they're planning their honeymoon, and they're going to go out to the big city where same place Gator Belts and Patty Melts.
I was going to say, this sounds like Gator Belts and Patty Melts hitting up Miami.
Head from Oklahoma, and they're going to go they're going to like a big casino. They're going to Vegas or maybe Atlantic City, but probably Vegas.
All right. Okay. The big one.
The gambling city, which is probably really pissed at DraftKings because now I get pressured to gamble every time anyone's playing
That's right.
Ping pong in Poland at the odd hours of the night.
We can bet on anything there.
John, this game, no one's watching.
Come on.
You want to wager some of your money?
I got a parlay. That guy's got a slightly bigger pong racket than the other one, so I've heard.
His mom just died. He's going to be playing like shit.
Yeah, he took a huge dump outside, so he's going to be fast and loose. This is some good intel. I can't not play this. All right,
hate
so
DraftKings.
Yeah, I can't. That's a vice I can't touch, John, because the house will be gone, the shed will be gone, the podcast will be over. We'll just stay away from gambling. Harrison will. We'll hear about
Smart.
John's stories. I can't go back to Atlantic City. Speaking of, a lot of history there, a lot of people, a lot of things. My name didn't used to be Harrison. That's enough. All right, let's go back to this breakaway. And okay, so what are they doing? So they're Vegas. They're gonna rob something. I mean, what's the plan? To pull some crazy heist off?
So here's the in a bullet point.
Okay.
This waitress got engaged. They're getting ready to go, and he's adamant, like, we're going to Vegas. We're going to this casino. We're gonna stay there. Like, he's done his research, and she starts looking in, and then he gets a message on his computer. So she looks at it, and then she starts looking at his browser history because that's what people do. Right. And then she puts together that he's planning this robbery heist. So, and he's kept her out of it, so it puts her off. And when they get to the casino, she decides, like, you know what, I don't want to get into a marriage like this. I'm gonna take his advice and the plan he drawn up. I'm gonna do my own robbery. And so that's where she becomes the breakaway blonde.
How about okay, good, I like this. Let me drop a bunch of Harrison stupidness on it. So if we're playing with this title, Breakaway Blonde, so Breakaway, there's also a fun, I don't know if we're going to call it conspiracy theory, fun little internet idea about breakaway civilizations. So if you dive deep enough into the right corners of the internet, you may find people claiming that Atlantis was real. They could fly things in the sky, had all this technology, and they actually left the planet and are living out in the solar system or the galaxy doing cool Star Trek stuff. They're a breakaway civilization. They left, and someday they're going to come back. And so maybe this woman who's stealing, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to steal, I'm going to rob, I'm going to take the Lamborghini and rob this casino blind, does that at the same time her counterpart, her clone, or maybe the original that was an Atlantean that is living on, the other side of Mars, crashes on planet Earth, and she's the queen of the civilization. So now you have like a Parent Trap type situation where someone looks exactly identical to her is like running from the space police for some reason. She's running from the human police, and they switch places, team up. Then it's like a buddy comedy twin thing, but you're dealing with interdimensional forces and like a proper queen space lady and like a trailer park waitress girl, but they look the same because they are a copy of each other. So that's where and they gotta figure out each other's problems and learn about.
I thought you were gonna be like, and she steals a Lamborghini.
And they kiss. Right?
Okay, we introduced a lot there.
We did. I dumped a lot in the end.
There was a movie where Hulk Hogan was like a space traveler.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Shoot, we've talked about it before.
That movie lives in my head, except I can't remember anything about it.
It'll take me 6 weeks to recharge. What am I gonna do for 6 weeks?
Why don't you try relaxing?
Just one scene of him kind of doing some movement.
I mean, I think I've even put a clip of it in the podcast in the past. It's a terrible movie,
right? But it looks and sounds
surprised
awesome.
it even made it to VHS. But okay, so Breakaway Blonde, small town waitress, gets married, finds out her new husband's gonna steal from a casino. She intercepts the plan at the same time. Her breakaway Atlantean space traveling version of herself lands on Earth.
Yep.
And hijinks.
Hijinks ensues. That's a perfect summary of Breakaway Blonde.
Okay. That's our first beer.
That's a movie.
It would be fun to think about the Atlanteans for sure.
Yes.
Let's see what's coming up for beer number 2.
Like a sequel nobody asked for, here comes the next beer.
So for beer number 2, this one is submitted by Greg, who did it in perhaps the best way by checking it in on Untapped and giving us a story idea in the check-in.
Greg, you rock.
Greg, amazing work. You deserve your own stuffed cheeks. But May will do you better if this ends up being the feature. So anyways, Greg sends us a beer called Overcast Café, the Mexican mocha version made by Oakshire Brewing. And in the check-in, Greg says, here's an idea: a mysterious cafe in a Mexican tourist town where there has been continuous disappearances and murders.
Ooh.
The Overcast Cafe.
Certainly overcasty, not a happy cafe. People are disappearing and being murdered. So I like this. I like Greg's idea. You know, I didn't see that until just now. And when he submitted it, my kind of first thought was maybe kind of similar to this, where there's a movie that Owen Wilson made called Midnight in Paris a couple years ago. Great movie, sleeper movie. Not enough people saw it. It's excellent. Where he's kind of on a trip with his wife in Paris. They're on the outs and not getting along. So every night he goes on a walk by himself. And every night he somehow travels back in time in Paris and meets like Ernest Hemingway and gets in a bar fight with him and all these famous artists. And it's this really cool thing where every night he gets to go for a walk and go travel back in time, meet all these cool people and have a fulfilling life, and then returns to like his real life that's kind of depressing and keeps going back and trying to go back in time again and have of something fulfilling and cool happen to him. So if we smash kind of that together,
Harrison this.
Let's see. We can throw a
Harrison's
Atlantean
brain is a blender.
Breakaway. I wish I could get out a normal thought, but here we are. I can't do my taxes. We can talk about Atlanteans traveling through time. Okay, so I think we can mash this up. It's this cafe where people are disappearing in Mexico, sure. And I think they're not getting maybe murdered, or if they are, there's a time travel element to this. And maybe it's some evil time traveler is like, this is the best place to kill people because I can send them back in time when they're dead. Maybe he's just disappearing people. But the story begins when like a tourist kind of stumbles into this cafe. Maybe he's a retired cop. Maybe it's Bruce Willis's character from Striking Distance, where he's off of his houseboat house and traveling to Mexico, and off the booze long enough to see something's not right here in this cafe, reads about how people are disappearing and stuff, and investigates, and he gets pulled back in time as well, where now he's trying to like find these missing people or solve these murders and catch the person who's somehow able to manipulate time in this cafe before he becomes the next victim. Like, we can fill all that out. It's just a cat and mouse kind of drama thriller cop movie, but with time travel in this cafe happening. So I can see that being a fun, similar to, what was it? The movie we did from Resident Culture that took place in Jacksonville, Duval, the something of the heart.
There was a houseboat. Motivations of the Heart.
Motivations of the Heart. So something like that, but again, time travel. So
I like that it probably all occurs within a little cafe.
Right, that's it too.
Tourism, Mexico.
Exactly, right. Yeah. So it's a smaller set, although I'm also kind of imagining he walks out of the cafe and it's like 100 years in the past or whatever in this small little Mexican town where there's no cars.
The cafe is like a time and universe.
Yes, there's some slipping happening. Exactly.
You come in and out through different.
Yep. Exactly. But you kind of have to know how to do it, or whatnot. We can get the mechanics. We'll figure that out if it becomes a feature. But I think this is great. There's plenty here. Might be hard to find the laughs in it, but that's okay. I really like the movies where we're not just laughing about people exploding because they ate too many chicken nuggets or whatever.
And if I know Harrison, we're gonna find some laughs.
We'll figure it
anyway.
We'll figure it out. But
the cafe is run by a Lagerstani immigrant.
Right, by Buddha Grimace.
Don't finish your whole cup of coffee, okay? Weird things will happen to you.
That's right.
Leave
the grounds at the bottom. Leave the grounds. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, we can figure all the mechanics of it out. But anywho, Overcast Cafe, Mexican mocha.
Mexican mocha would be. I almost want to keep that in the title. Usually that doesn't happen when we find
a variant or something. Yeah.
Maybe the Mexican mocha is what activates.
Is he the killer, or is he the? Oh yeah, it activates. Right, it's the special. He figures out. Oh yeah, you want a mocha? We have the special Mexican mocha, and it glitters, and there's a twinkling wind chime music that lets the audience know this is more than just more than just mocha.
It's in like an old dust-covered tin box.
Is that fine? When did that expire? Expire? Oh my god!
Oh, it's a never expire. Now all of a sudden we're in Jamaica. Whoops.
Time travels and geographically travels.
Yeah, that's true. Jamaica's close to Mexico.
It's a time traveling portal and a geographic portal. Yeah, sure, exactly. It's all relative.
Overcast Café is our second beer. We got one more submitted by a user, and then we're going to go to Untapped. Let's check out beer number 3 coming up next.
This next beer has a lot to live up to. No pressure, little guy.
So beer number 3 comes to us from Andrew, first time submitting on the podcast. This is made by a local brewery to us called Mad Mole, who's been on the podcast. Everyone remembers Dump Truck of Doom. That was a lot of fun. This beer, and I use the phrase beer, if you're watching, you see me air quoting automatically.
Sure.
It's called Couch Time.
Love it.
And it's actually a seltzer. It's a flavored THC seltzer. So instead of beer in the traditional sense, this one's probably going to make you feel like you had a much better day. It's only 5 milligrams of THC, but not technically an alcohol drink like a regular beer. But it's good enough for Untapped. It's good enough for the show.
That's great. My gosh, Couch Time. What a great name too. Now that we know more about what it actually is.
Yeah.
That nothing says, couch time, like something with THC in it.
That's usually that's sometimes if I partook, that might be how I said it. I'd be like, I need some couch time.
Couch time. Hand me that Xbox
What are you going to watch, Severance? Whatever is on is what I'm going to watch. I'm going to drink this and have a good night.
Can't figure out how the remote works. Good stuff. Okay, so it probably can't be that, just dazed and confused, but with John and Harrison. But it might be close. Okay, so Couch Time. Obviously, the first thing that jumps out to me is, maybe not obviously. The first thing that jumps out to me is the word time. We just did a time-traveling cafe, right? But maybe we can do a time-traveling couch or something like that. I don't know, John, what do you have? Do you have any thoughts of when you hear Couch Time beyond my final resting place?
Well, I think we could play into this, right? Like,
okay.
I'll never tell you that THC is bad.
Of course.
But in excess, anything is bad, 100%. Including
couches.
Too much couch time. THC induced or otherwise. So here's the idea.
Okay.
You get 2 roommates, college age.
Yes.
Already you're thinking this is a weed movie.
Yeah. Maybe.
But it's not about marijuana. It's about they're setting up their apartments their first time they're living off campus.
Okay.
They find a Craigslist or they find a deal for this futon. They're like, great, now we have an extra bed for when we have chicks over.
Risky Craigslist furniture. Folks, just say no.
But it's only $25.
Right. You want bed bugs? Let's take it bed. You want Legionnaire's disease? Go get something you can sit on from Craigslist.
People have died on that couch.
Absolutely.
Look, it's only $25.
Concerns.
Okay, we'll see if we can pick it up.
I'm worried about somebody living with a horrible disease on it. You die on it, it's fine.
So with these 2 roommates, it's price that matters more than anything.
Absolutely. I know.
So they go pick up this couch, they throw it into their apartment, and
love it.
The couch okay, so here's how the movie works. It's just about these guys in their apartment, but the couch is sentient. I know I joked about sentient toasters. In this case,
Here we go. We got a sentient couch.
It doesn't have to be a time traveler, but the couch itself is almost like the embodiment of what you think of when I say, oh, that person's a stoner. The couch is like, it's addicted to reality TV. When you drop chips in it, the couch becomes happier.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, and it's somehow influencing them to like, hey, come spend time on the couch.
Yeah,
put the reality
like
show
a siren.
on, grab some chips, and it's almost. Then it turns like nefarious, where it's like the couch is feeding off of their life force.
Yeah, we just did gluttony. Now we're doing sloth. It's kind of it's pulling these people, these unsuspecting college kids, into a life of laziness, which gives it this living couch more power.
Where it gets its power, yes.
This.
The more
this
it robs from you.
good.
And in this case, it's a sentient couch. But if you have a couch, you know that's also your couch.
Right. You may name your couch. Yeah. I feel like I've had couches with many names. Certainly tons of love sacks that had names in my day. I slept on them for most of my time in college. So I better name them. They kept me safe at night. I remember one time, John, I was sleeping in a love sack, slept sitting up all night. I
couldn't even do that.
With a Coors Light in my left hand, right here, all night, half full. I wake up, shake, and spill it on my pants. Like 8 hours later, I had a half full Coors Light in my hand all night.
Whole night's sleep, no spill.
Wake up, and the first thing I do, oh, God, what's that? Oh, man. Drop the baton right at the finish line. Anyway, so I relate to this. I relate to the power of something comfortable that can pull you in and freeze your life before you even realize it. This is great. I have almost no notes. And John, I love this. Throw time travel out the window. Let's let this couch kind of consume these people slowly. But that's right. So that's the movie and the story is there another roommate who's maybe more studious that realizes something's going on and he kind of never fit in, but maybe here's his chance to save the day. Is it an attentive girlfriend? Does the couch win and just kind of consume them? And then it ends up on Craigslist again. Yes. And then it goes to the next dorm room and it begins its feast on the two unsuspecting other college kids.
There could be a scene where they're like going to the college library archives. Like, I think that's our couch. No, this is a historical document. Like this.
Right.
You could play it up.
Right. Eventually it ends up next to the Ark of the Covenant in some warehouse somewhere. But not before it consumes a lot of chips and a lot of life forces of a lot of people. And I love it. We could do more than maybe we even realize right now with Couch Time. I think this is a great beginning to what could be a fun kind of sci-fi stoner comedy type thriller.
I like the stoner comedy is easy to assume with this, but sci-fying it
also
could give us a lot of room to have fun.
And we'll make a couch evil, which is couches are one of the best things ever. So that's a great challenge for us to be like, how do we make a thing that is soft and comfortable and be evil? I don't know.
So it just gives comfort, and then the TV's there to give energy. It's not much different than the story of what television has done to humankind.
Exactly right.
In this case, it's an evil or sentient couch.
Right, exactly. I guess it's motives. We kind of understand it. Maybe there's more to it. Maybe again, we can figure this out in the feature. I think we got plenty here for the Fast 5 idea of Couch Time. Certainly for you guys to vote on for Couch Time as this sentient couch that feeds off human laziness and chips. Will it keep consuming people again and again as it moves through this college campus, or will somebody figure out what this thing's actually doing and stop it? I guess maybe we'll find out next week.
Beer number 3 is in the books. We got to go find 2 more on Untappd.
Next beer, time to prove you belong on this podcast.
So for beer number 4, we've got a check-in from Aloha State Beer on Untappd.
Indeed.
If you're fortunate enough to know Alex, you'll know he's, probably one of the most impactful Untappd users.
Oh, yeah. Very knowledgeable, amazing for the Hawaiian beer scene, the overall beer scene. He's great. We've known him for a long time, back from the Drinking Socially podcast days. So happy to stumble across one of his check-ins. Being in Hawaii, he's checking in usually at different times than John and I are on Untapped.
That's fair.
But it lined up tonight for us, so we're going to take advantage of this opportunity and talk about what he's drinking.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and start by apologizing, Alex. I am not Hawaii literate.
Right.
So the name of this brewery, as I read it, is Wallenpaupack.
Yeah, Wallenpaupack. That's in Pennsylvania, so you're good.
Son of a gun.
Woo!
Okay, yeah.
But,
again, still not
Still
Hawaii
not Hawaii
literate. Because that's in Pennsylvania. But anyways, name of this beer is called Activator.
Woo!
And I've seen a lot of Box in the feed. Of course, Box
crazy
day
Box.
on the day we're recording.
That's right. We're Box-tastic. We should be drinking one ourselves, but we're not. Okay, but we're going to talk about one right now. Activator from Wallenpaupack. Okay.
How do you say it? Wallenpaupack?
Wallenpaupack, I believe. Yeah.
It sounds Hawaiian to me.
It is. It's Native American.
Okay.
But okay. So Activator, obviously a play on, oh boy, what is it? The one from was it I'm gonna really embarrass myself right now. It's not Activator. Optimator?
Optimus Prime?
Close. A very famous Bock beer from a German brewery, and I'm forgetting all the names about it. Is it Aventinus that does? Is it Spaten that does the Optimator? It doesn't matter.
This is a movie podcast, not
You're
a beer
not
podcast.
a beer podcast, so it doesn't matter. I'm just making
right now
Alex embarrassed to be associated with us, but it's so beer movie wise, let's talk about movies. Shifted back to beer, you're right. Activator. I mean, right away my mind goes to like the dude who's all right. We got Manchurian candidates out there sitting around waiting to do bad stuff. Whose job is it to turn them on? It can't just be when they always hear like an old Burger King jingle or, somebody rings the doorbell and that sets the microwave too hot and they ready to assassinate the president of Micronesia. There's probably a more controlled way to handle these deep agents.
So you're getting at like there's Manchurian type candidates.
Yes.
Like there's people that have
sleeper agents. That's what they're called, right?
And then this is such a precise organization that they don't rely on a microwave ding, but they have a person that is an activator.
He or she is the activator to make sure that the right person is activated at the right time. And that's their job. It's basically like a handler for a bunch of sleeper agent spies, but it's a tricky job because these people don't know they're spies. Which you go, John has something.
I got something.
Here we go.
And it's fueled by a recent discovered hatred.
Perfect. That's the best.
They're not spies.
Okay.
They're employees of DraftKings.
Got it. Oh.
And what happens is like, Harrison used to spend $100 a weekend every time the Knicks played.
Yeah.
He hasn't been spending money. We need to go activate Harrison's wife, cousin, coworker, and just get him to start being like, oh man, the Knicks are so hot they couldn't lose on a 20-point spread.
Only I could bet. Well, I can bet. Oh, this is fun. So, right, forget about the government because that's almost gone anyway. Let's talk about the gambling rings. Yeah.
the real controllers.
The private companies that'll all be running our future soon. So, DraftKings being right at the top of that list. So, this is good. I like this. So instead of, let's throw out the whole idea we just had. We're not waking up sleeper agents, right? We're waking up your friends, your family. If you decide, once again, not to bet on a parlay, decide this year you don't like any of the horses at the Preakness, well, guess what? Someone's going to be whispering around the water cooler about how Brittle Shins it's his year. He's coming in first.
Those Brittle Shins is just a false flag name. There's going to be so much money made on this race.
That's right. The fastest and the youngest. So, all right. So this activator works for someone like, probably can't say DraftKings.
Say Draft Queens.
Draft Queens. And they're going around just putting a little bird in your ear through your friends, your neighbors, people you trust, to get back on that confounded app and start just lighting your money on fire again.
Basically.
And so this could be similar to the movie The Cooler with William H. Macy, where he works for a casino and for whatever reason he steps near a table and the guy who's got the hot hand goes cool, loses it. Now you've got an activator who's kind of doing, I guess, the opposite of this, where they're going into workplaces and bars and, pool halls and walking through the room. And now people who deleted Draft Queens are re-downloading it and betting on the Knicks to win a game. And the money keeps flowing into Draft Queens. And so maybe does this person get a conscience, fall in love with someone who's, over their head or underwater to some mafia person to Draft Queens? That's the story. Again,
I think once you're activated, you lose your, even if they activated me against you, Harrison, instead of this podcast, I'd be like, dude, you really need to think about pulling out of your retirement and start wagering on these ping pong games that happen every 5 minminutes.
Right.
You can make so much money if you win your parlay.
Exactly. Come to racketsize.com with me and let's analyze some pong paddles.
The activated person becomes your worst enemy, but you don't know until it's too late.
Oh my gosh.
I think maybe the way this goes is that someone like me is so pissed at Draft Queens that they build a super AI that for the first time ever can predict the outcome of a sporting event.
Been waiting for this.
With measurable accuracy.
Okay.
And what do? They start breaking Draft Queens by taking all their money, and they keep getting kicked off, and they're like, you can't gamble with us anymore. So I don't know if they hack the activated people, but somehow this knowledge gets spread.
Yes.
So Draft Queens can't activate people. It's starting to cost them more money instead of just robbing money from all the addicted gamblers.
I love this. Kind of flip them all to the competitor or the whatever. The AI gets to them first, and now this activator's out of job, and Draft Queens drowns under their own debt. And we're freed by an AI robot who eventually will enslave us. But for now,
and it could be AI, it could be like a magic genie, it could be a sexy nun.
Yes, maybe all three.
There could be a scene where the star of the help me with Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry.
Yes.
Steph Curry is he gets activated and he's like, oh yeah, you got to pick the Timberwolves against us tonight. They're going to, and people are like, Steph, what the hell are you doing, man?
Right.
One, you're kind of Pete Rosing, and two, you're really not supposed to proclaim that you're going to lose.
Right.
You're going to get traded.
Right. Exactly.
So that raises the suspicion, and then maybe the sexy nun, AI, genie, someone comes in to help.
Oh yeah.
And eventually this movie ends with Draft Queens becoming forced to do public janitorial services for the country.
Right. Or revealing they were a deep op for an actual sleeper agent Manchurian candidate program that had deeper nefarious goals, and now that's been turned on and whatever. We can go crazy with it. I'm excited. This is good. That's cool as heck. That's kind of topical, talking about gambling. And the people like me that try to walk away, unknowns to myself and others, that an activator might be just around the corner trying to pull me back.
That's true. They do it with push notifications. Why not push your
push
loved ones into notifying you? Somewhere there's a movie poster there. I'm glad I got to.
It's not a movie poster. It's a marketing plan. I think it's happening.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to throw stones at DraftKings, but I hope they didn't hear this and say my God, that's a good idea.
Let's try this.
No.
Come to us first.
Patent pending. You sons of bitches.
Patent pending.
Okay, so that was beer number 4. We're going to squeeze one more in before we decide what you're going to have to vote on. Let's see what's coming up with beer number 5.
This next beer just watched the last one crush it. Let's see if it can handle the pressure.
Okay, so for beer number 5, we've got one checked in by our friend Kevin, and it's made by Hop Butcher for the World.
Oh, classic.
Great brewer. They're out of Chicago area.
Oh boy, I believe you're right. Yes.
So this beer is called Newfallen. All one word, Newfallen. It sounds like a town in Connecticut.
Yeah,
That's probably because I think of New Haven.
There you go, where I used to live.
Newfallen. It's a stumbly kid.
Bambi. It's the story of Bambi, who never got her feet under her. Still stumbling around the woods somewhere.
If only she could have stood up, her mom would
still be alive. Oh, that's good. That's dark. Yeah. We've already taken Big Nose down. Maybe Bambi's next. The Revenge of Bambi. Right.
Big Nose's real name was Pinocchio.
Right.
But
Bambi hunting people would be a blast.
Oh,
like,
wow.
let's put vengeance right in Bambi's crosshairs, and now you're all dead.
What was it, Cocaine Bear?
Yeah,
but just the story of Bambi's
Angel
Revenge.
Dust Bambi. Right.
Please, any brewery make a beer called Bambi's Revenge.
Finds a mysterious bag in the woods after watching her family be murdered, and sniffs that white dust, and all of a sudden anything's possible.
Learns how to manipulate a Glock with her hooves.
Oh yeah. Oh my god!
I can just rack the slide in my horns. You don't have horns, Bambi. You're a girl.
You're bleeding. You're just slamming the gun into your head.
I have the bones of the first hunter I killed strapped to my head like horns.
Okay.
So, anyways, this movie's called Newfallen.
The blood of 1,000 hunters will cover my pelt before the night is through. Okay, baby. Anyway, all right, Newfallen. Let's focus on this.
Yes, Newfallen.
So here's what I saw right away when we popped across this. If you've got purgatory is the place where people go before they go to heaven or hell, maybe Newfallen is a place where angels go before they go to hell or earth. So you're given this choice maybe that we don't know about, where, you know, if you're a fallen angel.
They keep reminding you the only one that chose hell was Lucifer.
Right, exactly right. But now it's a little bit, now they look at earth and they go,
I might roll the dice.
I don't know. I like a warmer climate. Maybe hell's the thing for me. I don't deal with all the nonsense down. It's a little complicated. I don't think we're the help they need anymore. But anyway, so it's this place, I guess, Newfallen is. But also, if you're an angel who's fallen, you're a Newfallen too, and it can follow one of them who's maybe, and this could, again, like, now we have the world. Is this a story of an angel that maybe was mistaken to be a Newfallen angel and is trying to get back to heaven, but that's not an option. You got to go to hell or earth first and prove you're worth it. Is it kind of a Constantine type movie where there's alliances in Newfallen and they're trying to join forces with darkness and take over heaven? It could be like a very angelic focused movie,
basically a Bravo TV show.
Could be a Bravo TV show
about
type
angels
thing.
and
Right,
demons.
exactly. It could be turn into Buffy the Vampire Slayer if we got really kind of like small town with it.
I think you have to decide, is this a story of one Newfallen angel,
right,
and they're tasked to get back to heaven,
right,
presumably, or is it the story of Newfallen, the place where these
right,
angels are,
right,
and
that's the CBS show. You're right, of a bunch of angels walking around, going to an angel bucks and getting. We can't have caffeine here. We can't have Newfallen, right? We couldn't upstairs. Can't have caffeine here. I choose hell.
It's just decaf espresso, but you can't have foam milk.
Right. Oh, I hate this place. Poof.
The Lucifer posters, like, we
Exactly
have all
right.
the espresso you want down here, and you
Right.
get more powerful.
Exactly right. Read the fine print. All right. Chains, eternity. Got it. I like coffee, but I don't know if I like it that much.
It'd be fun to try and figure out if eternity for angels carries the same weight as, like, I have to work for another 40 years before I can retire. Does it feel as long? I don't think eternity for an angel feels as long as an American thinking about retirement.
You're right, but there's not a bass fishing trip at the end of that angel's path. There's just more being an angel. At least we have that to look forward to. Something when I get to be overweight and fall in a lake someday, and pretend I'm happy about it. So that'll be fun. Anyway, yeah, right. I think you're right. The story, we can hack out Newfallen. Is it the town? Is it the decision an angel has to make in their journey back to maybe redemption, or maybe deciding, Earth could perhaps use some more angels walking about. That's what's been missing. We could get deep with it, have some laughs. It could be kind of like Defending Your Life with Albert Brooks, one of my favorite movies. Anyway,
I like that take. I'm envisioning, like, satanic recruiters that get to come to Newfallen.
100% from
now
Draft
it's like
Queen.
a high school in my head where they're
Draft Queens, yeah.
they're like, hey, if you come join us, you get a cool uniform, you get one weekend off a year.
Yep.
The years last a lot longer down here.
It's a year, right?
I mean, you get 1 weekend off sometimes.
Right.
And there's a lot more cool stuff. We have strip clubs.
Yep,
you guys just have the churches. Great.
That sounds nice. Ours are a little cooler. Don't ask who's dancing though.
You already can't die if you're an angel. If you're an angel in Newfallen, it's basically like there's not much consequence. It's either like work to get back into heaven or take the easy path and deal with the consequence of hell. It'll be fun to try and maybe put some.
Exactly. The other twist on this I'm thinking is, what if Newfallen is where all the new angels live and they have like a Rumspringer type event where they get to decide, am I going to hell or earth to party for a week before I go to heaven?
Yes. Okay, I like that. That's a better idea.
That could be fun. We'll go the other way and see if the temptations of earth are enough to keep some well-meaning wing walkers from their destiny.
Some of them are filling in at the blood bank and the soup kitchen.
Exactly.
There's a couple angels that are like, I'm going to that weird strip club that I went to after basic training out in the middle of nowhere in Missouri.
I saw some things there I can't quite explain.
I need to see them one more time. I will never be allowed in there as a full-fledged angel. Although there was 2 girls named Angel.
I'm sure at least 2. With lovely stories, the both of them.
Come watch angels make a baseball bat disappear. Anyway.
I love baseball. They got a free buffet. It's free to eat, but it costs a lot later.
Yeah, everything comes with a cost, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's no free buffet in a strip club, folks.
I think this is based on a real strip club experience in my life, and I'm pretty sure it was called Big Louie's, somewhere outside of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I hope they're still in business. It's probably run by the opposite of an angel.
Right, exactly right. Or maybe one that stayed behind, saw a business opportunity.
That's true.
Maybe we'll figure that out next week with Newfallen. I don't know. Maybe that's our guy, Big Louie.
Your turn to decide. Cast your vote before Thursday, or forever hold your pint.
Well, we've got through 5 beers on Untapped and through your submissions. So now we've got to narrow it down to 4 so that we can ask you guys to pick your favorite and turn that into a feature film next week. So we've got Newfallen, the Angel movie. We've got the Activator. Yeah. It was a pretty fun idea about killing draft queens. And then we've got the 3 submissions. Couch Time. We've got Overcast Café, the Mexican mocha. Thank you, Harrison. And the first one that came from Brian, which was Breakaway Blonde, the Atlantean traveling waitress heist movie. I trust your gut, Harrison.
Oh, God.
Is there any of those that is not singing to you? I mean, they're all like fairly decent.
I really liked tonight. I think tonight was great. I think we got a lot of winners. Shoot. Which is great when we're doing the Fast 5, but then when it gets to here,
I mean,
we just get frustrated.
As a general rule, I make a lot of these up in my head because I have conditions. As a general rule, I say we should try not to get rid of a user-submitted beer.
Oh, okay.
So that would narrow it down to either the Activator or Newfallen.
Oh, great. Well, man, I really liked both of them. And I, was a little iffy on Newfallen until we just flipped the script on it at the end. And now I kind of want to see that movie. But I really liked Activator too. And we could have fun poking fun at old draft queens. I don't know, John. This might be a coin toss for the 2 for me, unless you have one.
I can't get rid of the DraftKings.
I know you
throwing
can't.
stones at them.
Okay. Well, then maybe
I did enjoy where Newfallen ended up. We have 5 pretty good movie ideas that I'd be excited to make, but
we do.
I'm in love with the idea of poking fun at the gambling apps.
Then we're keeping Activator. Newfallen, they could still be in the vault, so it may show up. And I will say, we'll throw the polls up on Instagram like we've been doing in our post for this Fast Five. So if you haven't seen that yet, go over there right now because we're probably about to make this feature. Unfortunately, the voting window is like a day from release, so that's the only downside to all this. But anyway, so yeah, and if you want to write in Newfallen, go ahead and send us a DM for that, and we'll see. But the 4 that'll be in the poll for everybody to vote on will be Activator, Couch Time, Overcast Cafe, Mexican Mocha, and Breakaway Blonde. All right, cool. Any of those will be awesome. So now I'm curious. Will be a real toss-up. Maybe the audience will also be split. Maybe not. Maybe we're making the movie that had to do with I don't know, the couch. I don't know.
Yeah, the couch was fun. There are a lot of good fun ideas. Excited to see what y'all decide you want to see turned into a movie.
Indeed. Likewise.
And we'll find out, and then we'll start recording it.
Holy guacamole, will we ever?
Yeah. How hard could that be?
How hard could that be?
I need some couch time and some chicken nuggets, Harrison.
Me too. It's almost tomorrow, which means it's time for us to say goodnight.
Until next week, peace.
Punch.
Give me your lunch.
Lunch.